So, hello everyone. Welcome to my podcast. And we have a special guest today, a good friend of mine. Her name
Hi.
is Natasha Jones. So, she is, first of all, a nurse, so a fellow nurse. We've worked together back in the past, back in the
Yeah,
day. I can't believe it's been that long
I
ago.
know. A
That's
long time.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So, for Natasha, the reason why I brought her to be a special guest today, because she has kind of veered towards the area that I like, which is being very holistic. And she is an excellent athlete. That's how I say it. I've been watching you,
Thank you.
even though we're far away. And I'm just going to read her bio. So she's first a woman who enjoys everything fitness, healthy, and holistic. Next, she
Yeah.
is a registered nurse, and she's been for a long time. And she's been part of the Western medicine for 20 years. So for the past 8 years, she's taken more look into the Eastern side of medicine with the approach to health and life. So her goal is to help other women to find their desire for self-care, and also to help them with their meditation, with Reiki, yoga, and breath
Yeah.
work. So I've watched you. Actually, you've been putting some stuff out there on Instagram now. You've been stepping up your game. So definitely I'm
Yes.
excited. So Natasha, thank you so much for just stepping up, joining me on this podcast. I know this is going to be great
Yeah.
for all the women out there who are looking on kind of stepping away from that Western medicine. I
Yeah.
I am a nurse and I do advocate too, but I still feel that as women, we need to start looking in our inner selves to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves better. So, first
Absolutely.
of all, tell me about yourself a little bit more on what you've been doing the last 8 years with.
The last 8 years, I have literally been just trying to figure it out. And what really happened is when COVID hit and things started shutting down, is when I was like, okay, I figured it out.
Mm,
Because so many things have been just like automatically all of a sudden taken away.
yep,
It's like we're at the gym one day and the next day the gym
shut
closed. It
down.
was like it was like a domino effect. Like those things that I use for my self-care,
Hmm.
slowly, like I watch them one by one send out, posts on their Instagram pages. Due to this pandemic, we're closing our doors for a couple of weeks
Yep.
because everyone thought it was going to be for a couple of weeks, but it ended up being for almost a year. So, over that time, that's when I figured it out. It's like, okay, I have got to put all of this self care and all of the holistic things that I have been doing over those 8 years. It's time for me to start sharing that with people and really honing it in on myself as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because that's when we needed it the most. It was like, wow.
Yep. I totally agree. That's I think
Yeah.
this past year has actually opened up our eyes a little bit better, knowing that we need to step back. And I think those who truly understood, like you saying, okay, it is time, like we need to step
Yes.
away from all of the modern day things and step back into what is in nature, what is holistic, what will help with our mindset. I think when we
Mhm.
try to just look in the outside part of our body, doing all the gym and the extra stuff, but we're not taking care of ourselves. There's
Right.
so many people that I have met, and so many people that have lost their lives that were friends of mine, that
Hmm.
were taking care, they were taking care of themselves, but weren't
Right.
truly taking care of themselves. And it was a big eye opener. And definitely with myself personally in the past, when that's that's for you. You know already that I used to run, used to do a lot of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
We even ran races together too. So
We did. We did.
exactly. So that was a whole setback for me when I became sick, and I was just like, there's something I'm not doing right, even though it looks like
Right.
I am, but I'm not doing something right. So self
Right.
care is so important. I learned that the hard way, and definitely that's my goal, to help other women not to just wait until they're sick, but to take care of themselves now that they're healthy, so that you won't end up in that
Yes.
situation. So I'm excited for this session, definitely.
I
So
am very excited.
yeah. So in order to find rest, so how are you helping other women to find rest in their journey at this time?
So at this time, through meditation, like meditation is so important. I feel like that is the foundation of that rest. When we learn how to meditate, and it takes, I mean, you just don't lay down and meditate. It
Hmm.
takes a while to to get that practice, but doing it every day, at least for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes is a very it's no time. 5 minutes just to be at peace and at rest and
Mhm.
stillness,
Mhm.
and just focus on your breath and let everything else on the outside just be still. Like you cannot bring that in. Just focusing on your breath and meditating for 5 minutes is one thing that I would definitely recommend and that I do with women.
Mhm. That's
Also, my
awesome.
Reiki sessions. Reiki is amazing. Just using that universal life force of energy just for healing. And
Mhm.
like you said, we have all of this illness and we may look good on the outside, but on the inside, we're feeling these pains and these aches that we're not really talking about.
Mhm.
But really that starts with our energetic self first. So, those chakras and our energy starts to feel that imbalance first. And then
Mhm.
comes that physical part. When we start to feel that physical, oh, I'm having these migraines every day, or I'm having these stomach aches every day. Well, a lot of that has to do with like that internal energy that's been going on for a while,
Yep.
but we've just ignored those
Mhm.
signs, right?
Yep.
So, and doing Reiki, we help to open up those chakras and open up and balance those chakras. So, I am working with women with Reiki, meditation, fitness. I have a group that we go over to the park on the weekends
Oh, okay.
and we meditate, and it's just a great thing. And I think that helping women through that, it brings me joy for sure. I really enjoy it. And it's something that really helps me every time I'm meditating with someone or doing a Reiki session with someone. I'm really getting that Reiki and that meditation also.
Mhm. So tell me more about the Reiki because I've looked into it. I'm actually working to get certified as a
Hmm.
Reiki. Um, what do you call it? Reiki specialist? What do
A
you call
Reiki
it?
master? A
Master.
Reiki
That's what it is.
master.
I have no clue, but I'm slowly trying to learn it. So so with the Reiki, is it more of hand touching or more of a life for like what
It
exactly
is
happens?
it is actually both combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is that energy that you as the Reiki master is getting from the universe. Like you're getting that energy from the universe, and that energy is radiating through you to your client. Okay, so it could be you can touch them. Obviously, you want to ask for permission because
Mm-hmm.
you want to ask for permission first so that patient or that client can receive that energy. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can touch them. So you're just working with your hands and you're touching them. You're unblocking their chakras and making them balance, making them feel more connect or connecting them more to the earth and the universe. Um, so once our chakras are balanced and open, we can receive and give energy to the universe. And that is what Reiki is. It's that universal life energy. I have done Reiki on Olivia when
Oh, with
she
her
was sick.
cat. That's her
Yes.
cat. That's her girl. That's her
Yes.
yeah. That's her girl.
16. Yeah. And
Wow.
I've done Reiki on myself. Like I do Reiki on myself several times a week, whether it's for stress, whether it's for a
Mhm.
headache, whether it's just for relaxation, whether it's for manifesting,
Mhm.
just wanting to be in that calm state because the world is so chaotic and extremely stressful now. So just wanting to put myself in that calm state,
Mhm.
like I do Reiki on myself a lot.
And that's what they encourage. There's people that say that that's the first thing you do. That's you have to do it on yourself in
Yes.
order to help other people. So if you're not taking care of you first with that
Yeah.
Reiki, then there's no way you're going to really be able to
Right.
help other
To
people.
help other people.
Mhm.
So in healthcare, we always say like the patient comes first, the patient comes
Mhm.
first. But in reality, like you have to come first.
Yes.
So you can provide
Mhm.
the appropriate care, whether it's for your client, for your patient, for your children, for your husband. Like you have to put yourself first in some kind of way. And I want women to find that balance.
Mhm.
Find that balance where they're putting themselves first, and then they're able to give a little bit more than they would have if they hadn't put themselves first. Because as women, we are constantly giving.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
constantly giving. We're constantly
Always.
giving to our
Yes.
families, to our job, to everything. We're constantly giving, and we get very little back. So we have to kind of give it back to ourselves,
Thank you.
right?
You hit it on the nail. I was
We,
just about to say that. You hit, it's such a
we have to give it back to
realization.
ourselves.
And then being a nurse, like as nurses, and there's so many nurses that are going to be listening to this, and we have so many people that we know that are nurses, and we take so much away from ourselves and give to those patients, even with
Yes.
our jobs, even working from home. Like for me, I work from home now.
Hmm.
But still, when I speak with my team members, when I speak with our patients, I still feel drained because I've used all my
Yeah.
energy. I'm giving everything I have from my heart, from my whole body to them. And then by the time my day is over, I am so
Yeah.
drained. I'm like, okay, I need to tuck myself in and just call it a day.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like as nurses, I think all professions definitely they give, but nurses, it is like
Mm-hmm.
we're constantly giving to the point where we haven't used the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom in 6 hours,
Yes.
or we haven't had lunch yet and we've only have 3 more hours left on our 12-hour shift.
Possibly
And
12-hour shift.
yes, right, it could be 15 hours, you just never know. So, and I feel like we have to take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and gather ourselves, reflect, reset, and then go back out there. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly going, you're draining. And then
Mm-hmm.
what are you giving to your family or your patients or your clients or whoever you're serving?
Totally agree. One thing that I have been doing, especially this year with
Hmm.
self-care is yoga. So I have been doing that every day, even if
Yes.
it's 5 minutes, even if I don't have time. And that has actually helped me with flexibility because
Yes.
as women, we tend to not really do enough flexibility. That's we think we're doing flexibility,
I
but we're
agree.
not really doing flexibility.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I have learned because I have some discomforts and joints that are, as I'm getting older, from probably sports in the past, arthritis, all the damage to my body.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
didn't really learn that I need to make sure that I'm doing that flexibility while I was in sports. So, what is one thing you would recommend for those? I'm trying to think just in general, but especially for the younger people that are listening to this, that are very athletic or they're trying to get themselves self healthier. What are some things you
Mhm.
do recommend for them that they should be doing that you've learned?
Hydration,
Mm-hmm.
hydrating, drinking a lot of water. Water, water, water. Like I can't stress that enough.
I got my water.
Hydration. Yes, me too.
Got my water.
Hydration, stretching, just like you said, yoga, stretching, like that opens up our chakras. Like it
Mm-hmm.
allows us to become more flexible, but it opens up our seven chakras so we can receive and give energy to and from the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So that in turns opens up our health avenues so we can be healthy, right? So we can fight off diseases. And when those chakras are open, we're able to eliminate any type of or illness or diseases that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sending that positive energy, we're getting that positive energy back, and yoga is a great way to open up your chakras. So
Yeah.
hydration,
Mm-hmm.
stretching, yoga, taking time to rest, taking
Yes.
time to do nothing
Mm-hmm.
is another thing that I would recommend because young people they're on the go.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly on the go. So taking time, whether it's an hour of your day to just sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
And this generation feel like that's a waste of time, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, it's giving you a chance to recharge and reset.
Totally agree. That's great. Yeah, with water, yes. When
Yes.
when we talk about hydration and people don't realize it, they may say that, well, I'm drinking coffee or I'm drinking tea or I'm drinking juice, but really our bodies are made from water. So up
Yes.
to 70 to 80% of our body is water. So if you're not hydrating yourself, even though you may not be sweating, and that's another thing, that if you're not sweating throughout the
Mm-hmm.
day, like right now I am sweating, that's the honest truth, TMI,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
if you're not
Mm-hmm.
sweating throughout the day, then that's another problem, because your body is blocked, is not functioning
Yeah.
properly. That's your
Blocked.
lymph
Yeah.
nodes aren't functioning properly. So yoga does help with
Mm-hmm.
movement of your lymph nodes, all of the
Yep.
hydration, helps with your bowels. It helps to, like, especially in the morning. And this is going to be another
Yes.
TMI. We're nurses, so we talk anyhow we feel
Yeah, we
like.
talk about this all the
Yes,
time.
yes, even while we're eating. Sorry,
Yeah.
but poop. If you're not having a bowel movement, and I'm going off a tangent, but I always like to make sure people do
Yeah.
understand. If you're not having a
Yeah.
bowel movement at least once a day, even once a day is not enough. Several times a day. That's the honest truth. If you're
Yes.
eating, you should be digesting your food. If you're hydrating, you should be peeing throughout the day, and also you need to be paying attention to what is coming out.
Yes.
It may sound kind of weird, but lots of people have a lot of gut issues. A lot of there's people that have to get their gallbladders removed, have to
Mm-hmm.
have stomach surgery, um,
Yes.
kidney stones, all those things. This is all from us not taking care of ourselves.
Care for
And
self.
as
Right.
women, when we start to ignore all those extra little things, you have a pain here, it's like, oh, it's just a pain.
Mm-hmm.
That you have a bad period. And I actually was listening to another podcast. They were talking about, if your period is heavy, and sorry, this is just getting interesting, so I'm just going to go off a tangent now.
Yes.
But if
Do it.
if your period is getting very heavy, that's not normal. That's another thing, because you're not taking
Right.
care of yourself. So
You're not taking care of
self-care
yourself.
as women is, we need to pay attention to what is not working well for us. So definitely, I've
What?
been through it personally. I pretty much
Mm-hmm.
ignored it, and I caught valley fever not knowing I had valley fever. For those who have read my book, and I ignored it, and I was nearly going to be pretty much in the ICU if I didn't pay attention at one
Mm-hmm.
point. So it was an eye opener for me to stop ignoring my own problems, and I need to start taking care of myself, because no one else is going to take care of me. Even my husband, my kids, no one's going to take care of me but
Right.
myself. So sorry, nurse hat off. Okay, I'll take it.
No. No, that is absolutely right. Like, if you don't hydrate, you do end up with issues like constipation,
Mm-hmm.
other gastric issues.
Mm-hmm.
That has a lot to do with your root chakra being blocked.
Yep.
That has a lot to do with your solar plexus being blocked. So those are things that you need to put into your body. Vegetables, lots of fruit,
Mm-hmm.
drinking a lot of coffee. People, and I know people drink coffee and they say, "Well, I'm not drinking water, but I'm drinking coffee or I'm drinking tea. It has
Mm-hmm.
water in it." That coffee is so dehydrating.
Yes.
Coffee it's a diuretic. It will dehydrate you. So if you're working out all the time, sweating, and then you're drinking coffee, dehydrating, but you're not replenishing with water, then you're still doing your body a disservice.
So true.
So
So
yeah,
true.
so you need to make sure that you're increasing your fruits that are is loaded with, water,
Mm-hmm.
vegetables that are loaded with water, and just drinking water. I'm not saying don't ever drink coffee, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously a lot of people, I drink coffee,
Yeah,
but I don't drink it every day.
exactly. Yeah, as that's when we used to work night shift
Oh,
years
yes.
back. I used to buy coffee, and like the heavy duty ones. I can't
And I'd
believe
be
that.
like, Audie, are you gonna make some coffee?
It's like,
Are you making the
yes,
coffee?
yes, I'm making the coffee. It's gonna grow us a beard right by the time we're done. It was pretty bad. But
It
now,
was.
yeah, but pretty much now I rarely do anymore. I cut back on that. It's like
Hmm.
once in a while, if I just want to have a taste of it, but I don't really crave it anymore.
Right.
I've kind of like knocked it out, and it's mostly like green tea and trying to stay hydrated throughout the day. And also, yeah, fruits and vegetables, definitely trying to make sure
Yeah.
that that's in my regimen. So that's another area that I feel a lot of people don't really focus on. They feel that if they're taking their
Hmm.
smoothie, well, just a smoothie, or they're taking their power shake or whatever, that will cover all the bases. But really, we're not getting all that whole foods into our system. So I know you've been
Right.
a vegan for a while now, right? You were, yeah,
Right.
even when we met, you were vegetarian, then switched over to being, yeah,
Vegetarian.
yeah, and then switched over to vegan fully. So what how's your daily regimen when you're um, um, having your meals?
So, well, one reason why I switched over was because I was having a lot of like constipation
Mm,
issues. Because I was still like eating a lot of dairy, even though I was vegetarian, I still just ate a lot of yogurt
mhm,
because we think like after we work out, we need to get that protein
mhm,
in and have that yogurt. And my mindset has definitely changed on that. So now my regimen is usually I usually wake up and have lemon water in the morning. And I keep water by my bedside. So that's easy to
mhm,
just come in the kitchen and squeeze a lemon in there. I'll have a smoothie for breakfast. And around lunchtime, I usually eat like some green
mm,
beans. I have some tofu, some sweet, I think today I had like sweet potatoes, stuff like that. Those carbs that are good carbs
mhm.
for, good carbs. I'm trying to find the word complex carbs. For dinner tonight, I can't say that I did that good.
Well, once in a while, we're allowed
Because
to splurge.
cause
Yeah, yeah.
I had popcorn.
Well, popcorn is still corn, is it?
Popcorn is good, right? Right. But usually my meals definitely one meal is always like a smoothie just
Mhm.
because I'm in a
Yeah,
rush.
yeah.
So it's usually like a smoothie with some water, some berries, a banana.
Yes, it brings some
I usually
extra
try to
stuff.
throw some,
Yeah.
yeah. I usually try to throw some kale or some spinach in
Mhm,
there. I always have one of the two in my refrigerator,
mhm,
kale or spinach, right? Lunch is definitely usually a protein and a complex carb and a vegetable. And that complex carb is usually sweet potatoes. That protein may be tofu. It may be a black bean burger patty that I've made because I'm addicted to those. I
mhm.
make them all
They're
the
so
time.
good.
Right. Some spinach or something like that. Dinner may be like a salad with a black bean burger on top. I can tell you that everyone is so busy now and everyone's busy, 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 even including myself. I have found rest and enjoyment in HelloFresh
Mhm, mhm.
because it takes the guesswork
Yes.
out of what am I going to
Mhm,
have because I can just order my box. They have vegan, they have vegetarian, they have paleo, they have any diet that you can possibly think of on there, and you pick from the app on your
mhm.
phone, and it's the box is at your door, by the end of the week,
Yeah.
and it's all fresh. It is very amazing.
That's cool. That's why I actually have been using Imperfect Food. So we'll put both of the links in
Okay.
there if you're interested. So that you can get a discount. But I've been
Yep.
doing that since COVID started because I have refused to really
Hmm.
go in the store that much just because of all the craziness and I just didn't want to.
Right.
But that has been working for me for the past several months and it's fresh too. So pretty much every week,
Right.
once a week, I
Yeah.
just place my order, pick what I want, and pretty much it's fresh fruits and vegetables. And
Hmm.
my family still eats meat. I eat it once in a while.
Right.
I'm trying to back off a little bit. I'm working on that. I
Hmm.
said I was going to go vegetarian, but I'm working on that. And then
It's a process.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
process.
especially with our lives being so busy, I kind of fell back because I'm like, I don't have time and I just need to just do one meal and not worry about anybody. But I feel once I get back to my own regimen, which is taking care of me
Hmm.
again with the food, which I'm doing better, actually. And then I do a smoothie in the mornings now. That has worked better for
Yeah.
me. And I think it helps with digestion, but I mix it, as you said, with some form of fruit and then put some vegetable and then my protein, but not
Right.
just a plain protein because it's not enough stuff in there. And that fills me up
Right.
until about 11 or 12 and then I eat lunch. But definitely if you're making the excuse that you can't buy fresh fruits and vegetables, there are so many avenues now, especially with COVID. They've made it so easy now, even with
Oh yeah. It's
Amazon.
so
Even with
easy.
Amazon, I it's so
Amazon.
easy too.
Yeah.
I'll order and by the end of the day, they drop my groceries off. I don't have to go to the store. So
Right.
don't make excuses about I can't afford or I can't get. There's so many stuff that's affordable now. They've made it so much
So
easier.
many.
So much
Even
easier.
like the Hello Fresh is for me.
Mhm.
I find it a lot of times
Mhm.
cheaper than actually going to the grocery
Yeah.
store and buying those fresh fruits
Well, the
and vegetables
supposedly
because
fresh fruits and vegetables. I've noticed that my food lasts longer now than before. So when I go to the store,
mm,
I know that it's been
okay.
there
Yeah.
longer. So So think about that too. Most of the stuff in the store has taken
Yeah.
longer to get to the shelves. So by the time it gets to them, it's about 2 weeks, is what I've heard. So it's not really fresh, you
Wow.
know?
It's not really
No,
fresh.
no.
That is very
Mhm.
true. And if you're buying stuff, and I want to tell people this, if you're buying stuff and you have it, for example, if you're buying a loaf of bread and that bread is sitting out on your counter and you've had it for about a
Mm.
week, 2 weeks, and it hasn't started to
Gotta worry
mold,
about that. Ew.
you have to worry about
Mhm.
that. It's not, it's very much so processed. It's very much so processed. So you want to definitely pay attention to those things. And even the way your fruit and your vegetables are becoming overripe and what they look like versus GMO versus organic, those are things that you definitely want to pay attention to
That's so true.
for
Yes,
sure.
so true. So true. So we've talked a lot about diet, exercise, Reiki, yoga, chakra balance. So I just wanted to talk about exercise because I know you're into a lot of fitness and stuff, even with the COVID,
Yeah.
and you've kept in great shape. I admire that. I'm working on
Thank
myself.
you.
I've had my
You look
setbacks. Well,
amazing.
thank you. I'm trying.
I'm so
That's
proud of you.
personally, I think with being older now, things have changed. So
Mhm.
women, if you feel defeated that you're not losing weight, know that as women we're different from men.
Don't.
Don't compare yourself
Yeah.
to your husband that's lost
Do
20
not
pounds in
compare.
about 5 minutes. Our body takes time to lose weight, and that's why I keep on telling myself every day I am unique. We're all unique. So what are some things you have been doing during this COVID period to keep yourself in shape? Because I know you've been doing some stuff at home, and I've seen some of your videos. And we will put your link for your IG so people can follow you as well.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be
but
great.
definitely tell me what are some things you've been doing.
So when COVID hit and everything kind of shut down, I kind of went into a little bit of a panic. And I literally went and bought as much gym equipment that I could find. And let me tell you, where I live in Atlanta, everybody goes to the gym. So, like, there was nothing on the shelf,
Mm,
like, there was nothing left. But I bought everything I could find. And I actually started doing some Zoom
mm,
workouts. I started doing some Zoom workouts with a couple of people on
okay.
Instagram and I watched it grow,
Mm-hmm.
right? I watched that grow. So I started doing that and I started going across the street to the park. And I would take my little dumbbells, my jump rope, my mat, and I just created my own
Mm,
workout. So that was something that I had to kind of just step out of my normal routine because
mm-hmm.
I'm a group fitness person. You know
Mm-hmm.
that. I
Mm-hmm.
love group fitness. I love being in a classroom where we're motivating each other and I'm feeding off of your energy and you're feeding off of my energy. And then when all of that stopped and it's just me, I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do? And it took a while for people to be like, okay, we can do a Zoom
Mm-hmm.
class. It took a couple of weeks for that to kind of get
Yeah.
going. So I would just go across the street to the park and I would come up with the workout the day before. And I made sure, like, I set an alarm, like I was going to the gym,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? So I would get up. If it was dark out, I would do it in my living room. When the sun came up, if I was off that day, I would go across the street to the park and get the workout in. Then Zoom started coming around. Everyone started doing their classes on
Mm-hmm.
Zoom. So I would do that almost every
Okay,
day
that's cool. Cool.
because the classes would be like 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes, 45 minutes. And so I would do that a lot. And then slowly, Atlanta started opening back up a
Yeah.
little bit. So then I would be able to go to class and get back to that normal
Mm-hmm.
routine. But it was definitely a struggle. I'm not going to say that it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't because it was a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to get yourself motivated to work out by yourself.
Well, for me, it's not though. It's kind of funny. So I'm the
See,
total
for me it
opposite. So
is.
for those who are used to group fitness stuff, yeah, it's good. It,
Mm-hmm.
it was a struggle for those, and I had friends who were like, "Oh my goodness, there's no gym. I can't
Yeah.
lift my weights." Whereas for us, that's for me and my husband. Like he has his whole weight room in our bedroom, so he lifts
Okay.
weights and everything. So he's like, "Oh, whatever." And for me personally, I'm like, well, I've always been an outside person, so I'm like, well, is is business as usual for me. So I was
Right.
still getting up at the same time and taking my walks
Mhm.
and doing my exercise. And for me, I used to do YouTube. So I'm like, YouTube is still free. So I use YouTube,
Yeah.
yeah,
I did YouTube
yeah.
also.
So
Yeah.
so it's good to know that um most that's for you personally, it was still a challenge. So it wasn't like you were
It was a
perfect,
challenge.
to just get yourself
Oh,
and
no.
keep yourself
Yeah.
motivated. You had to push yourself. So for those who are listening, you still need to motivate yourself. You can't just say, well, because something shut down, oh well, I'm not going to work out. You
Yeah,
can't
you
make an
still have to get
excuse.
out there and
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, and I am definitely not perfect like that. I struggled with that a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I struggled with that a lot because that was my place of refuge. The gym was my place of refuge, and you know that. Like I would get off work and go to the
Mm-hmm.
gym in the
Mm-hmm.
mornings, and when we work
Yep.
night shift. So that is just what I did for that self-care, that release of
Mm-hmm.
stress. So when COVID hit, it was like a game
Yeah.
changer. So I had to look within myself and be like, okay, I'm going to have to create these workouts and I'm going to have to just do it. And my neighbor and I started walking a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So that was one thing. And then her and I would go to the park and start working out with each other. And like you said, YouTube came about. And before I knew it, almost a year had gone by,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Almost a year had gone by, and the gyms slowly started opening back up with limited
Mm-hmm.
space. And I was probably one of the first ones in that sucker.
First one to sign up. Sign me up at midnight,
Right?
please.
Sign me up for the next month. I'm coming to this class every day of the month. So it was a struggle. And just because, when you see me on Instagram, I may look fit, I'm in the gym, but just know that I have those struggles too,
Yep.
right? And I think that we all do. So, and you mentioned something about women comparing themselves to, don't compare yourself to, men who can lose weight and get fit really quick, but also don't compare yourself to other
Mm-hmm.
women because everyone is made up so
Yep.
different. So don't compare yourself to other women. We are all made differently. Our metabolism's different. Everything is different about us. And the workout that I do may not be the workout that Adi wants to do or that's good for
Mm-hmm.
Adi.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I've done different things in the last few
Mm-hmm.
months, and one thing worked. I'm like, okay, that works a little bit. Then I'm like, well, it's not really what I want to
Yeah.
do, and I start to research. So do your own research. Try things. If you don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
don't force yourself to continue. Just discontinue it and try something
Yeah.
else. But don't be hard on yourself. Just those small little wins that you took a walk, or you did a 5 pound
Yeah.
weights, or you did one push up. Even I can't do pull ups. I do one pull up. I'm rejoicing, like I did a pull up, yeah. So
Yeah.
just little stuff like that. Like
Exactly.
just give yourself a high five. Just be
Yeah.
grateful that you're able to move, because there's some people out there that can't move and they're wishing that they can exercise and take care of themselves, and they're pretty much
Yeah.
bedridden. So um yeah, so
Show yourself
mhm,
grace. That's what I always say. Show yourself some
yeah,
grace and don't compare. And I think that we as women, we do that. I find myself
mhm,
doing that. Like I'll be on Instagram strolling through and I'm like, gosh, that's a lot of weight
I
she's
know.
lifting. Wow, look at her. Like, dang, I'm going to try to do, I am not going to go and bench press
Nope.
200 pounds.
I
I'm
have no
just,
back for it anyway, so forget
I have no,
it.
right. I have no desire to do
No,
that.
it's not on my list. I just want to be healthy and happy. That's my goal now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
healthy and
yeah,
happy. And show yourself grace. And I think we're so hard on ourselves, including myself. Like you have to show yourself some grace for
totally
sure.
agree. Well, this has been a great conversation. I can continue talking
I
with you,
love it.
Tasha, for
Let's-
probably another 2 hours, three. It's a great conversation. I'm truly grateful for you being my friend and being my special guest,
yes,
and just
thank
hopping
you.
on to just have that conversation, because that's my goal with this podcast, is just to help other women. It's not to be strict. I just want it to be carefree. So definitely comment, like, share this podcast. It's going to be on YouTube as well as on all platforms for the podcast. So definitely take a listen, share, and comment. So thank you so much
Thank you for
for being
having
on
me.
here.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Natasha.
Thank you. And remember,
So
self-care. You come
That's the
first.
point.
It's not being selfish, it's putting you first.
Definitely. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye.